Welcome to MuggleCast, your weekly ride into the Wizarding World fandom. I'm Andrew.
I'm Eric.
I'm Micah.
And I'm Laura.
And this week, with the holidays approaching, we're going to discuss our favorite fan-made Harry Potter creations on Etsy and elsewhere.
Before we dive into the episode, though, a quick word from our first sponsor of the week, Third Love. Third Love uses millions of measurements to design bras with all-day comfort and support. And with bras starting at just $45, you can find your new favorite bra with high-quality, comfy styles without breaking the bank. Not sure about your size? Take Third Love's online Fit Finder quiz to find the size and styles that are right for you. I did this a couple of years ago and have been wearing Third Love ever since. I'm in love with the 24/7 Perfect Coverage bra because it manages to be supportive and comfortable. And Third Love got my size right from the very first time I took their Fit Finder quiz. Third Love knows there's a perfect bra for everyone, so right now they're offering our listeners 10% off your first order. Go to thirdlove.com/MuggleCast to find your perfect fitting bra and get 10% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/MuggleCast for 10% off today.
And one more thing before we get started. Shout out to those who listen to the podcast on Spotify and have been sharing their top podcasts of the year list with MuggleCast on them. That's been really cool to see. Some people have listened to the show. I've seen a couple, like 30,000 minutes over the past year.
That's amazing.
All right, let's move into our main discussion today, the most interesting fan-made Harry Potter items on Etsy. Everybody might remember that last year we did an episode similar, but we were talking about official Harry Potter merchandise, and definitely check that out if you're interested in our picks in terms of the official merchandise. But this year we're going to focus on the fan-made content, and we thought, let's get a Harry Potter Etsy creator on the show today. And lo and behold, at least one of our listeners is a popular creator on Etsy, Hannah, and she's here with us today. Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
Welcome to MuggleCast.
I'm super excited to be here. I love talking about fan creating and that kind of thing, so I'm excited to talk about it here today.
Perfect. And you also support us on Patreon, so thank you very much for doing that as well. So let's get your fandom ID first. Give us your favorite book, movie, character, Hogwarts House, and Ilvermorny House.
Okay. My favorite book is Half-Blood Prince. My favorite movie is Sorcerer's Stone. My favorite character is Ginny. My Hogwarts and Ilvermorny houses are Hufflepuff and Pukwudgie.
Okay.
Hannah, what makes you like Ginny? We've got to put it on the record here.
I have several reasons, probably. I love her attitude and I love watching her growth through the series. But I also really love Harry and Ginny's interactions together. Those are some of my favorite parts in the books.
When did you decide to become a fan creator? And what's the name of your shop on Etsy, by the way?
It's FTA Magical Design. The FTA stands for Flighty Temptress Adventures.
Oh, I love that.
And there's a little bit of a story behind it, which is kind of how my shop got started. A couple of years ago, I discovered the Harry Potter Instagram community. And there's all these really cool creators, not just Etsy creators, but just content creators as well on Instagram. And I got really into it. I made my own Instagram account under Flighty Temptress Adventures. And it was probably maybe 7 or 8 months into that I was making just a piece of artwork for myself for my own personal display that I ended up taking and turning into a product that started my shop. And so I kind of took my Instagram name that I started with and shortened that to FTA, added the magical design, and that's kind of where my shop came from.
So tell us what you sell in your store.
I started off mainly with prints of original artwork and designs that I created. After a while, I started getting those designs printed on stickers, and here recently, I've added a few new things. I have a couple of magnets, I have a pen, a keychain, and I'm starting to get into notebooks, which has been really fun.
I mean, that makes sense. Ginny loves notebooks, or at least journals.
Diaries.
Diaries, I'm sorry.
You should make a diary.
I don't know how much she uses them these days.
You started that how many years ago?
I started the shop in September of 2019.
And it's been pretty popular, right? Like, I see you got a lot of reviews.
It's gone really well. I actually just a few days ago hit 1,000 sales.
Oh,
Nice.
Congratulations.
That was really exciting to see. I mean, obviously, with any small shop, there's ups and downs.
Right.
But overall, I've seen really good growth throughout the whole thing. I mean, I'm definitely going to keep going with it for sure.
Hannah, by far my favorite item on your shop is one that I myself have. It's a personalized Famous Witches and Wizards card from the Chocolate Frog collection. I was clicking on it. I was like, I'm pretty sure I have one of these. And I click and I saw my photo in the descriptor.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a custom Witcher Wizard Chocolate Frog card. These are amazing. They're sizable. They're custom. They look great. I'm pretty sure I was given one as a gift. Maybe it was last year's Secret Santa or something. But
it was the Patreon gift exchange.
It's amazing. I really, really like these cards.
That's been one of the most, as far as the prints go, that's definitely the most popular thing that I've had in my shop. I actually had someone who got a custom chocolate frog card for her and her fiance to use at their wedding. So that was really cool.
So
Wow.
cool. And how long does it take to produce each one of these?
I usually spend a couple of days on them each. I have like a 2 to 3 week processing time set on Etsy because if I get backed up, and it takes me a couple of days for each, then it takes me a while to get through them.
Right.
I want to make sure I've got like the details and the coloring and all that down.
You want to do a good job, earn those 5 stars. I see you got an average of
Absolutely.
5 stars on Etsy. So,
Wow.
and how much do those cost? The custom
The
ones.
custom chocolate frog cards, I believe I don't even know my own prices.
It's $22.50.
Yes, I was about to say somewhere around 22.
That's such a great idea because we all want to be wizards. Oh, I see Eric's face now at the P.O. box, by the way.
Not the first image to come up, thank God. But yeah, everybody looks... Well, the cool thing is, pictured alongside each of their cards, you can see the resemblance.
Yes, I was just going to say, you really captured Eric's hair. And I'm not even joking. Like, if somebody showed me that, I'd be like, that's Eric.
I think I didn't shower the day I took a photo of it, but yeah.
No, in the art. I mean, well, yeah, all right.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. You've seen me at cons when I'm a little bit more put together. This was a day at work. But yeah. I'm actually at the MuggleCast P.O. box in this photo.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say while podcast.
It's funny that you said it. I mean, I think I've actually helped put you together at some of those cons.
Yes.
He's had some rough mornings for sure.
Elvis Dumbledore comes to mind.
I think these custom cards are a great idea because everybody wants to be in the wizarding world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now this is like a way to do that. Very cool. And I mean, $22.50, that's a great deal. I would charge more. How do you decide which products to make? Because you have a variety. You got these chocolate frog cards, but then you have artwork. How do you decide? Do you look on Etsy to see what other creators are making or just follow your passion?
A lot of it is just kind of like spontaneous ideas, I guess I would say. I do on Instagram a lot. I'll put you can put a little question box in your stories and I'll put that out there to say, what do you guys want to see in my shop? So I've done several things based off that, but especially the chocolate frog cards, that was just the idea popped in my head. And then I jumped on Etsy to see if anyone had ever done it before. And I saw that it had never been done. And so that's kind of, I don't ever want to copy someone else's idea, even if it's an idea I come up with on my own,
Right.
Respect.
Yeah.
It's always on my mind. Like, what can I do that's new? What can I do that's different?
What advice would you give budding creators? Let's say there's some people who are interested in getting on Etsy and creating their own Harry Potter merchandise. What are some, briefly, some broad tips about becoming a Harry Potter creator?
I think the most important thing is to find your niche.
Mm-hmm.
Just find the thing that is your own unique lane that you're going to stay in, that is going to set you apart from other shops. Don't get on Etsy if you're just going to add to the same thing that you see over and over again. That's how I feel about my own personal shop is I want to make something that is new and different. And so I think definitely find something that you love doing and that is going to fill a gap within fan creation.
Yeah.
Speaking of you and other creators, pre-pandemic, of course, did y'all have any spaces where you were able to sell in person, like conventions, vendor shows, or anything like that?
I know a lot of people who have done that kind of thing. I haven't personally. I live in middle of nowhere, Alabama, and people don't really get crazy about Harry Potter down here.
Unless they're burning the books.
Oh, man.
There's things like LeakyCon, of course, that is something I would love to go to someday. And I know some people who have gone to that kind of thing. So there's opportunities out there. Not that I've been able to personally explore as of yet, but that I would love to in the future.
Yeah.
So obviously the impetus behind today's episode is wanting to focus on fan-made creations. And it goes without saying that a lot of this conversation has been inspired by what do you do as a fan if you still want to indulge in Harry Potter merchandise, but you're trying to avoid giving money to the author of the books due to her problematic statements and contributions to dialogues around trans rights and how people should just be treated. So we know that that's obviously a really main driving factor behind why people are turning to fan-made creations. But I wanted to see if there are any other reasons that we look towards fan creators. I know for me personally, I just think it's so creative. Like, you can get things that aren't represented in the official merchandise.
That's exactly it. And I think even 10 years now after the theme park opened, from the beginning, there was a deficit. There was a lack of, Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff merch, for example. Right? They're out the gate. They have cool merchandise in the gift shops of the theme park, but it was mostly Gryffindor and Slytherin. Now they've come around. You can get some of the same stuff in all houses, but it's still not 100% even. If you're a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw, I think your first go-to place is fan creators and sellers, because those people who are Hufflepuff, who are Ravenclaw, want to see that merchandise and they decide to make it.
Yeah.
I think there's a much greater opportunity for things like inside jokes, to go off of, Laura, your point about creativity. The fans know the books, they know the movies, they know the little intricacies that a mainstream company is just not going to run with. And I think there's cool things and campaigns that have come out of what fans have created that you, as a fan, you want to be a part of, you love. And I'm going to talk about one of those items that I happened to see at LeakyCon Boston last year. And it just caught my eye. I'm like, that's really funny. It's unique. It's cool. It's different. It's not the same standard stuff. And I'm not knocking that. I have plenty of that stuff too. But I just think there's something that draws you in, and you want to be able to support the community. You want to be able to support your fellow fan.
I think a good example of that is how a fan creator might lean into the never-ending, long-running joke in the fandom about, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Yes,
right.
Calmly.
Right.
Exactly.
That would be printed on a shirt by a fan. If it hasn't, it should be. Or, other
it definitely has.
Or other ongoing jokes in the fandom. Like, fans will lean into that. Official Warner Brothers merchandise will not. And I think, getting back to Laura's original question, I think there's just something very fulfilling about buying something that was made with passion. All this stuff made by Warner Brothers, they're just doing it for the cash. But the creators are doing it because they love this series. And of course, the money's good too. But the passion came first. And I think that's just really exciting to support.
Yeah, I mean, the first page of search results for Harry Potter on Etsy, you get something as creative as a engraved wine glass that says Wingardium Mimosa.
Right.
You're not going to see that, and hundreds of other items, earrings and shirts and things that say turn to page 394. You're not going to see that on official merchandise. That moment from the third film that's very memorable doesn't quite make it to official merch.
Exactly. You will never see official merch print Hogwarts is a security nightmare. That's just a PR disaster.
We should do that. that.
That's a gift, the physical gift next year for patrons.
That's my idea for bonus MuggleCast today. Part of our bonus MuggleCast discussion.
You should invest in a security system, Andrew. Like for
my own home.
Yeah, and when the alarm goes off, it just screams that it's a security nightmare.
Oh, I see. I'll see if my ring
or do you know
can do that.
Do you know like ADT security systems? If you get a hat and then manipulate the logo, so it says Hogwarts security systems.
There you go.
And you go around, you're like, yeah, I installed the security at Hogwarts. I'm happy and fulfilled in my profession.
This school feels safe for once, thanks to my Amazon Ring.
Mm-hmm.
I had another question for you, Hannah. As someone who's invested in the success of your own Potter merchandise and Potter merchandise generally, do you see interest in Harry Potter lasting for 10 years, 20 years, longer? And will the interest be as strong as it is today?
I think fan creation is kind of on the rise right now. Like over the past couple of years, I have seen so many new shops just popping up left and right that are all really like impressive, high quality shops.
Mm-hmm.
It's uphill right now. And I think it's going to definitely continue on for a while. As far as 10 years down the road goes, maybe, possibly. I think it'll definitely change as anything does. You know, the styles and what people want and what people are looking for will change over time. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think like we're good for a solid next few years of just fandom creations coming out left and right. I think it'll definitely keep going for a while.
I hear you. But at the same time, I don't want to make predictions anymore, because if you listen to MuggleCast episodes from 10 years ago, we're like, there's no way Harry Potter will still be around in 2020. Nope, impossible. I was trying to think about this more this morning, and I feel like one reason that Harry Potter is still so popular today is not only was the story very good, and that helps tremendously, but I think another part of it is that there hasn't been anything else to really replace Harry Potter for us. Like, right. We've definitely grown interested in other things, of course. We're not, like, only attached to Harry Potter, but you always hear that phrase, the next Harry Potter. It's the next Harry Potter. But there's never been a next Harry Potter. And if there is one day, maybe we will lose interest.
It's certainly helped, though, that they keep delaying Fantastic Beasts, because then you just have more time to be able to wait for new things to come out. But it's hard, though, because I see Potter as a once in a generation phenomenon. I don't know what you compare it to. Like, you could compare it to Star Wars, but then you're going back to the 70s, right? And you could then argue that that's transcended generations. I think Potter will as well, but to me, given the wide success of a book series, I can't see something like that coming along for a long time.
No. And the thing is, it wasn't even just that it was a book series that captivated people. It was a cultural phenomenon. I mean, we have to remember, we all grew up with this, or at the very least experienced it during our young adolescent years. And we were compelled to spend our summer vacations going to Harry Potter conventions. Like, that says something about how this story speaks to people from all around the world. We used to meet people at conventions who would come from across the planet to be in Dallas, Texas, just to be at this Harry Potter convention. I mean, that, to your point, Micah, I don't know how you replicate that. And I think because we got to experience it during our youth, it's had an impact on who we are. And, you see a lot of people in our age group who are starting to share the series with their kids, and that's so heartwarming and wholesome, but it's not the same. It's not the same as when you're in it and it's actively happening.
Yeah. The other piece of it too, that kind of created the perfect storm really was the rise of the internet and the ability to connect so easily with other fans, like you're saying, Laura, from around the world. It just caught opportunity. It caught this wave that I don't think you could replicate it. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't. It's not to say there's not going to be cultural phenomenons in the future. Of course there will be. But something the level of this in terms of popularity from a book series, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and for these reasons and more, I think this is why the Harry Potter merchandise is still so popular and this fan-made stuff as well. So good points, panel. What fan-made products have we all purchased over the years? Laura, let's start with you.
Yeah, I've always been really impressed by all of the jewelry that I've seen in like vendor booths at conventions, so like specifically Comic-Con or Dragon Con. I've just gotten a lot of really cool handmade fan jewelry that, to the points that were raised earlier about sort of the fans being able to get super intricate with things in a way that official merchandise wouldn't. Like, you can find jewelry out there. Like, I have a charm bracelet that just has a bunch of like little things that you would expect on there, like snitches and stuff like that. But they're very intricate and detailed, and you can just tell the person who made it read the books, right? Because it's not just like, here's a generic owl. Like, the owl is clearly Hedwig, you know? So you can just tell that people have poured their heart and their soul into this stuff. I also got this really cool, and it's not specifically Harry Potter, but I bought a wall clock for my parents, and it has these movable, like where the numbers would be to mark the time. It's instead symbols for various different fandoms. So like Star Trek, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, etc. But they're movable. So you can like change up your clock numbers, if you will, to mark the time by different fandoms and things like that. And I just think stuff like that is so creative and interesting. So I'm always into just like browsing the vendor floor just to see what people are doing.
And that transitions perfectly into my answer. I love browsing artwork too at conventions. I think that's my favorite category of fan-made Harry Potter merchandise. And if you look on Etsy, oh my gosh, there's so many cool pieces of Harry Potter artwork showing certain settings or modes of transportation. Just really remarkable stuff. When I was at San Diego Comic-Con a few years ago, I was browsing, I believe they call it Artist Alley, and I came across this piece of artwork of McGonagall bringing the statues to life during the Battle of Hogwarts. And I had that framed on a wall for a few years. I just love that scene so much. And it's something you wouldn't see anywhere else officially. So I bought that immediately, and I just love that artwork.
Do you
very
reenact
much. So for me, it's
McGonagall's famous line in front of that photo?
Yes. That's part of my morning routine with a cup of coffee.
Our school.
Yeah. Do your duty to our school. I say that to my alarm system every night. Do your duty to my house. Oh, I should put it above the little keypad for the alarm.
And then, like, as you're walking away, do you say to yourself, I've always wanted to do that spell?
I've always wanted to put in that code. How about you, Micah? What have you found?
Yeah, so at LeakyCon Boston last year, kind of as we've all talked about, walking the floor, particularly where the vendors are, and looking at all the fan-made merchandise, I came across a shirt, and I know I've worn it a couple times when we've done Quizzage or we've done our Slug Club hangout. It's a shirt with Dan Fogler as Jacob Kowalski, and it just says Kowalski's Bakery, and all the different like pastries are in the shape of different, beasts from the series, and it says fantastic yeasts. And it's just one of those funny things. I was walking around and I saw it and I thought hard about buying it, and I ended up getting it. And a kind of a cool story there too, in talking to the creator. And that's one of the really awesome things too, obviously, about being at the convention, and you get to actually talk with the creators who made the item. And she was telling me how last year at LeakyCon, she got a chance to talk with Dan Fogler, and he just loved the apron. She has an actual apron that she created in addition to I didn't get the apron, but it makes sense. Jacob is a baker, so he should have an apron. So, of course, Dan went ahead and purchased one of these. So, I just think, those are the types of stories that you love to hear. And she has a website, Art by Fox is her name. And I would say for kids, she does a little bit more edgier items. So I would just be mindful of going to her site. May see some things that aren't appropriate for kids to see. So she
going right now.
I'd say she's heavily into the Draco Harry fan fiction.
Dreary.
Oh, and there's
sign me up.
There are some items for the adults to go take a look at.
Ooh,
but
wow.
Yeah, different ends of the spectrum. Jacob and his bakery, and Harry and Draco doing some things together.
Yeah, enjoying a pastry.
That's what you want to call it.
How about you, Eric?
You know, the biggest purchase of fan-made items that I have made have been books. It's a little off-center. You wouldn't necessarily think of it as being a fan-made item, but think about how many people we've known throughout the years that have written a book on or about Harry, or books where they've collected essays. I'm thinking of Dear Mr. Potter, where they had fans collect. I think, Andrew, you wrote a letter to them, right?
Yeah, I was part of that. Yep.
Yeah, that huge project. And it's a huge, coffee table scrapbook. I think Ivana Lynch wrote a letter in it. But things like that are fan creations. They are, just because they get officially published or published through Amazon, doesn't diminish it. Like fan books, I just have probably a dozen over on my shelf. And, it really captures, a lot of them are about being a fan, and a lot of them are about the opportunities that living in this world has taught us. And going back to what you guys were saying earlier about how long will Harry last and all that, it's important to note this wasn't just a book series. It was a phenomenon. People can live in this world. So that helps. This isn't just your one-off, film or one-off book. A book could be really, really popular, but it's deep enough and wide enough that you can actually, it's become sort of a lifestyle for people.
Yeah.
And these books, these fan books, whether it's like even the Ultimate Unofficial Guides way back when, were really about fostering that growth and that excitement and that passion.
Okay, so we are going to discuss our favorite products that we've seen on Etsy this year. We had a lot of fun browsing Etsy. I'm really excited to talk about what we've uncovered because there's so much there. But first, let's take a break from this holiday shopping spree and hear a word from our second sponsor today, Beachbody On Demand. So hopefully you've now got the hang on keeping your body steady while working from home or staying home more, but knock, knock, who's there? Not carolers or presents, it's the holidays, and they're here to undo all your hard work. Darn it! It's easy to slip back into those unhealthy routines, and the holidays definitely don't help. Beachbody On Demand offers thousands of at-home workouts to help you keep your body in check and build healthy habits that survive even the most tempting holiday spread. Most people wait until the new year to get active, but why wait until January like everybody else when you can start today and be ahead of the game? Beachbody On Demand is the solution you need to maintain your body through the holidays. But no matter what time of year it is, quarantine or not, they are the place to go to work out. And that's because you don't need to go anywhere but in front of a screen and load up the Beachbody app. Workouts are as short as 10 minutes and they don't require any extra equipment, so they're easy to fit into your day. There are programs that work for any experience level, whether you're just getting started or you've been working out for a while. Right now, I am really into Shaun T's Transform 20. This is a high-intensity 6-week workout and nutrition program that will transform your body and mind in just 20 minutes a day. That is nothing. So quick. And a 20-minute workout will fly by. Get started today at Beachbody so you can feel like you earned those holiday cookies. Right now, our listeners can get a special free trial membership when you text MuggleCast to 303030. You will get full access to this entire platform for free. All the workouts, the nutrition information, and support absolutely free. Again, it's so easy to sign up. Just text MuggleCast to 303030. So I always love looking on Etsy for fan-made Harry Potter merchandise, and I want to start with a product that I've actually mentioned a couple of times before. CrestCrossed. They are actually no longer on Etsy, I learned while preparing for this week's episode. They have their own website now. I don't know why they left Etsy, but we'll provide a link in the show notes. CrestCrossed is a creator who merges Hogwarts houses together. For example, Slitherpuff or Gryffindor, because too often we're stuck between Hogwarts houses. And now you can buy merchandise that actually merges two houses together.
I love this.
And I just think this is a brilliant idea. Hannah, you mentioned earlier original ideas. I think this was a very original idea. They make shirts, patches, and other types of merchandise. I also noticed they have a new United badge, and it combines all 4 Hogwarts houses, and they created that this year in light of all the craziness that's been happening. Also, another one that we've recommended before, Cards Against Muggles. Micah, you have this? Did you buy it?
No, I don't have it. I've played it several times. I think we actually gave it away last year when we did our holiday trivia on MuggleCast Twitter. One of the prizes was Cards Against Muggles.
Yeah. And you know, Cards Against Humanity, who Cards Against Muggles ripped off, is not a big fan of Cards Against Muggles. I think they've tried to have these taken down, but I've noticed that it is currently for sale on Etsy. If you do finally want to get a physical pack
it now.
Oh, I'm putting it in my cart right now before it gets taken down.
They also have their own site. And I noticed there's another spin-off of a popular game, HeadBandz. It's like Heads Up, the app, the game by Ellen, but it's physical cards instead of the phone. There's a fan-made printable deck of Harry Potter cards for HeadBandz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Andrew, we can play this, and then if you get any of the Weasleys, I can be like, you hate them. And that'll really narrow it down for you.
Yeah.
The thing I will say, though, Cards Against Muggles is, I think with everything that's gone on this year, everybody can use a really good laugh, and that game is one that will definitely make you laugh. And so even if you're not able to get it, I would recommend just going and giving it a Google and seeing what kind of things come up. It will definitely brighten up your mood a little bit.
It's for adults, though, right? Is it dirty or okay?
Oh, it is very dirty.
I love it.
I would say it's in many cases, it's not for kids. Let's just say that.
No, it's actually, it goes further than even Cards Against Humanity. If you think you've had some racy Cards Against Humanity cards,
oh my,
you ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay.
I mean, I'll remind you that I used to moderate Harry Potter fan fiction, so I think I'm ready for this. But I definitely think I need Cards Against Muggles, and I need that Wingardium Mimosa glass to go with it. That just sounds like a perfect combo.
Yes.
Sounds great.
From SouthCoasters, there's also customizable Harry Potter drink coasters. And you get to pick which 4 Harry Potter chapters are printed on the coasters. And actually, I don't even think they're printed on there. I think this person takes pages from the Harry Potter books, the Mary Grand Prix editions, and somehow puts these pages on the coasters. 5-star reviews across the board. I actually discovered these from one of our recent Quizzage winners, Morgan, because he wanted one of these sets. And like I said, you pick which 4 chapters you want. If you're unsure which 4 chapters you want, you can say, give me Luna chapters, give me Snape chapters, and they'll create a set of 4 for you. So I thought that was really unique. And then finally, and Eric, you mentioned books. I thought this is what you were going to mention, because I know you bought one of these one time in Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
HollowBooks. So they'll buy books and then they will ruin them in a way by cutting out the pages so it turns into a little box. And you can store maybe some personal items in there, some important items in there. And then you put it on your shelf, and then if somebody ever breaks in, because Hogwarts is a security nightmare, they won't think to look in your books for your passport, for your wallet, for your keys, for your social security card.
Wow. I wonder if HollowBooks and SouthCoasters work together, just given that SouthCoasters uses
the nature
tearing the books apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything that's made from book pages of Harry Potter. Of course, I hope that the book had a chance to be well loved and read, but you see a lot of, whether it's earrings or lockets or little ornaments that are made literally from pages because you recognize the font, anywhere. As a Harry Potter fan, those creations are always very exciting to me.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, HollowBooks were a prize selected by Quizzage winner Emma recently as well. So thank you, Emma and Morgan, for finding these sweet picks recently. Laura, what have you found?
So the first thing that I found, I was really excited by this, and they're house banners. And the creator is called AniaArtNL. The reason that I'm so excited by this is because I've actually been looking for house banners for quite some time. We are a Slither Claw household, and we would really like to have each of our house banners in our office. But all of the official merchandise for this stuff kind of sucks, to be honest. Like it's like screen printed and just, kind of flimsy looking. These are handmade floor to ceiling length banners that have beautiful designs on them for the houses. The detailing is gorgeous. The banners themselves actually have like tassels on them. So the attention to detail is just so beautiful. And they also do these for like non-Harry Potter options. So this creator will also do your Game of Thrones house, for example, Micah, if you're looking for something like that.
Yeah, I was looking at the second photo and I was like, when did Stark and Targaryen become two of the Hogwarts houses?
Yeah. But they also do custom art as well. So you can see that they have these kind of like, customized pieces where people can do stuff for their dogs. So like it'll say like Snugglepuff and have a picture of their dog on it.
That's funny.
All right, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's lots of customization that happens, but these just look really great. And we actually are eventually going to be investing in a Ravenclaw and Slytherin, one of these to put up in our office because
investing.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
Well, they're a little expensive, as they should be, because think about how many hours of labor goes into making these, right?
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that Hannah spoke to earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Hannah, you were talking about putting in a couple of days for a chocolate frog card.
Yeah.
Like, you would probably be better qualified to speak to this, but how long do you think creating one of these banners probably takes?
Oh goodness, that is so outside of what I do that it's something that I wish I could do, but man, I'm looking at them now and they're so intricate.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the kind of work that they would put into these.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm imagining like weeks of labor go into these. So that actually makes the, $130 cost of them seem not at all unreasonable.
It's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. And then kind of like Andrew was saying earlier, any and all original art. I actually found a Diagon Alley watercolor print by Shae's art on Etsy that I really like. I just think that this print captures the like essence of the wizarding world. It looks a lot like what we see in the movies and at Universal Studios, of course, but it's just the coloring kind of reminds me more of what you see in the books, like in terms of what you imagine. I feel like sometimes the movies go like almost grayscale.
Yeah.
And that's kind of annoying to me because from reading the books that this is a very colorful world and I just like seeing it represented in art like this. Also, something that is so cool, and this is cool for any kind of fandom, but there's a ton of these on Etsy you can find, AirPods cases.
I need those.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. I need to not lose the AirPods.
You just need a string. You just need a long string.
Exactly.
But I actually have an AirPods case. It's not a Harry Potter one. It's a Squirtle one.
That's so cool.
Squirtle is my favorite Pokemon, for anyone who cares. But I have found that ever since having it, it's just eye-catching enough that it makes it a lot harder to misplace your AirPods, which I have done. The AirPod case is kind of small. So like if you sit it somewhere, it is possible to forget where you've left it. There is that handy feature where you can find your AirPods, but if they're dead, then you're out of luck.
Right.
But these cases are so cute. And a lot of them even come with like keychain fobs on them so that you can like attach them to something to make sure that they're like always attached to your bag or whatever.
Nice. I was going to say, when you're looking for your AirPods, instead of that little like beeping noise, does it say Squirtle.
Yeah. I think Squirtle has more of a croaky voice. Yeah, he's like, Squirtle.
Oh,
yeah, he was a smoker in his early years.
It's okay. Me too. It's fine.
You know what I like about some of these AirPod cases is they look like Funko heads. It's almost like they ripped off the Funko heads on the real Funkos and hollowed them out and cut off the top part of the head.
Andrew, why you got to reveal my process like that?
No, I'm sitting here turning around, looking at my own Funkos, being like, could I fit AirPods in these poor characters' heads if I murdered them?
Andrew is an expert in destroying Funko figures.
Yes, I did recently burn one. I won't say which one.
I think people could figure it out. But no, I mean, I think that I'm imagining people have 3D printers and that's how they're doing this, but I wouldn't be surprised if the designs were inspired by the Funkos. But yeah, you can even get ones that are just like clear AirPods cases that have, the Deathly Hallows symbol on it or a platform 9 3/4 or what have you. So these are cool. Some of them are customizable too. Like you can have your name engraved on them. So definitely just go to Etsy and type in Harry Potter AirPod case, and you'll find a ton of them. And then also, to a point Eric spoke about earlier, book page earrings. So the ones that I looked at here are actually through a creator on Etsy named Chaos Theory Designs. And the ones that they have advertised on their page, they of course have Harry and Potter, but you can request different things as well. And there are different styles that you can select. So like whether you want them to be a dangling earring or one with just like a stud type back on it. But these look so cool because the way the earring is designed, it's kind of like got the words magnified a little bit. It's kind of like a fisheye type look.
Yeah.
And I just love these.
Yeah. Generally, I love these items that repurpose the books. I know some people would consider that sacrilegious, but I think I consider it upcycling.
Yeah.
It's just a really cool way to repurpose and bring these books to life in a new way.
Yeah. I mean, for people, like, I'm sure we all have copies of the books like this, but my original 7 books that I had growing up are literally falling apart at the seams. And I think if you were trying to find a way to repurpose your original books in a meaningful way, this would be a nice way to do it.
Laura, this Chaos Theory Designs, they offer stars earrings from the book page stars.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That has 600 positive reviews. Yeah.
That is so good.
I don't think it was the same shop, but I actually have a pair of earrings that have the book page stars in them.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
I love them. They're my favorite.
Well, there you go.
Hannah, what other fan-made Harry Potter merchandise have you seen that you really like, or maybe that you've purchased?
Oh, yeah. Actually, one that I thought of that I think is the coolest thing on Etsy is people who make wands. There's one in particular called Wheeler's Wand Shop. And she doesn't have a lot on her Etsy page right now, but on her Instagram, it shows all of her past designs. But hers are so unique. They're beautiful. She has a Beauxbatons collection that she did recently that they're all like pale blue and white and icy looking.
Very cool.
Just they're such unique designs. And it's like, it's a way to feel like you have your own wand instead of just like using a character wand from the film.
Right. Yeah, that's a great idea. Eric, Micah, what items have you seen on Etsy that stand out to you?
For me, it's a lot of the knit items, like knit dobbies, crocheted Rons in particular. And actually, I went looking recently for a nerdy onesie. A lot of my friends are having babies right now. Like a lot. But Etsy has you covered, like nerdy baby onesies, whether it says like waiting for my Hogwarts letter or the one I actually went for was for my friend was a D&D one that says like level 1 human and it had stat points beneath it for your baby. But for Harry Potter, onesies, I see all sorts of really, really creative kinds. So I think that, if your friends are having kids, definitely look into what baby gear you can get as like a doting, friend of their parents.
I see one here that says "Snuggle this Muggle."
Snuggle this Muggle. Exactly. You would never see that from official, Harry Potter from Warner Brothers. Snuggle this Muggle. Come on.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of things, especially with everything that's been going on these last 8 months or so. Masks are big.
So big.
I have one that says "Essential Muggle" on it.
Good.
Which is really cool. I wear that out all the time, get strange looks from people. But I'm also big on socks. Well, when I was not working from home and going into the office every day, you're always trying to one up the person next to you in terms of dress socks, because dress socks have gone from being boring to being like, people actually put a lot of thought into it. So there are a lot of cool socks that are available on Etsy that are Potter related.
Today I learned Micah is very competitive with his sock game. I never knew that.
Oh yeah, I have like throwback Super Mario socks. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I know. Like my brother's really into unique socks as well.
I have one with a big
Is that a
fox head
brother
on
thing? Because my brother is too.
Huh. I don't have a brother. So I'm missing
Is your sock game competitive?
I like nerdy socks, but I also just prefer like the really plain, thick, woolen socks.
Okay, that's allowed.
Okay, so we also received recommendations from some of our listeners who support us at patreon.com/MuggleCast. Megan shared Rogue Rose Gifts. They offer lots of knitted products, including your very own Weasley Sweater. Now, these are $300, but they are the real deal, and you can put your own initials on the sweater. So, it looks like Molly Weasley really made it for you. Super cool item. Laura, one of our listeners, shared the creator Story Hero, who makes book sleeves to protect your books while you're on the go. It's like a case for your book. It's a soft, padded fabric body, waterproof inner lining, a flap to seal up the book, and it comes with a pocket too. All kinds of designs, not just Harry Potter ones, and these are $19 per. Laura, this may be a good idea for you because your books are on their last legs.
I know. I'm looking through these and the designs are so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love the Marvel one, the Heroes book sleeve.
Laura is set for Christmas.
I know. I'm just going to put a bunch of these recommendations together and send them to my family. Because normally I get a lot of Harry Potter stuff, and this year they know that I'm asking for fan-made merch instead of official. And they're like, well, where do we get it? So I'm just going to send all of these to them.
Does she want socks? What does she want? We don't know.
No, I remember this was a very helpful episode that we did last year for a lot of people who were looking for gifts. So I'm really hoping that people take a long look at all of these fan-made creations that we're talking about.
Yeah, and we'll try to include links to all of these in the show notes today. Tori shared the creator Painted Book Edges, and they make exactly what it sounds like. You pick from a list of many books, primarily YA, it seemed to me, that they have available, and they'll paint the white edges of the book. And it's just kind of a cool item to put on display, something pretty unique. These are $34.99 a pop.
That's so cool.
Jillian shared Almond Doll. They create custom mugs with you and a friend on it sitting outside of Hogwarts. And you could pick their hair color, their scarf, their names and you put your names on the mug. $14 to $17 each, so not bad at all. And they also have other mugs that say, I don't give a Huffle bleep, Slither bleep, Raven bleep, or
well, you can say the Raven one.
Raven crap, or Griffin damn.
Why
they have the curse words on the mugs.
Yeah, why were Hufflepuff and Slytherin so like
dirty?
Yeah, especially for Hufflepuff. That seems like
it's alliteration, right? Or sort of.
Yeah, it's the similarity of the
Raven doesn't work as well as Huffle does. I'll cut that out, but
or you can just bleep it.
Yeah, please.
And I noticed just for Eric, they have a mug that says, I like my coffee seriously black. SIRIUSLY. Though Eric doesn't drink coffee, so nobody buy that for him.
Yeah.
Roshni shared Diagon Alley and Hogwarts staircase shelf inserts. And these are things that you actually put in between your books, and they're 3D builds of the Hogwarts staircase or Diagon Alley. So it's kind of like two books open up to reveal this world. It's kind of hard to describe. But these are pricey. They're over $100.
But they do have a video on there so you can see how it looks. And it's almost like, you know, a hidden alleyway in the way that we would recognize it in the books, where you have to, you know, go through the brick wall to get to Diagon Alley. And this is definitely like a blink and you miss it type thing if you're walking by somebody's bookshelf, but it is so neat.
It's amazing. It's like if you have borrowers living in your home.
The best part is you can see the person in one of the photos. Like, it's if you look on the right hand side, all the way in the back, like putting their phone close so they can take a picture.
Oh my God, they're naked too.
Oh my God.
I will say I love how it's in between Lord of the Rings and some book by George R.R. Martin.
Really clever
That's
stuff.
where Diagon Alley has always been.
A couple more here. Lance shared Snail Customs. They make custom Funko Pop vinyls with way more detail and shine than the official ones. I couldn't find the price, and they are currently closed for requests, but it is cool to look at the pictures of their work. LeClaire shared Briarwick Candles. Lots of Harry Potter inspired options. LeClaire said her favorite candle scent is the Wizard's Joke Shop. And then finally, Christine shared ultra plush and snuggly Harry Potter Lovey security blankets for babies. They're $27 a pop. Christine said she has these for her kids, and it's a blanket with a character on top. Parents will probably know what these are, these Lovey security blankets. It's a blanket with a character attached to it.
So at first when you said like Harry Potter snuggly blankets, I was like, oh, and then you said they're for babies. I was like, oh,
So?
man.
Well, if you get 10 of them, you stitch them together.
That's what you can create, Laura. You can make your own Lovey blankets for adults. We will discuss fan-made Harry Potter merchandise more in bonus MuggleCast today. We're going to fantasy gift one of these gifts that we discussed today to one of the others here on the panel. And then we're also going to discuss, if we were to become a creator on Etsy, what would we create?
And obviously, we've just spent a lot of time talking about gift giving, given that it is the holiday season and it is the season of giving. So we made a decision here at MuggleCast to, instead of getting gifts for each other, to make a donation. And we've decided to make a donation to an organization who's doing a lot of great work as it relates to food shortage. And we know from seeing things on television, from seeing things on social media, that food shortage is a major issue in the United States, particularly because of what is going on with the pandemic. But it's also an issue under normal circumstances. And so we're going to be making a donation to a great organization called No Kid Hungry, who does amazing work to ensure that kids around the United States get the food and the meals that they need every day. And if listeners want to check out No Kid Hungry and all the work that they do, they can go over to nokidhungry.org.
Okay, so that's great. And before we move on to a couple of emails, Hannah, where can people find your store again?
It'll be on Etsy under FTA Magical Design. It's all one word.
Okay.
And it'll be the same name on Instagram, and you can get the link to my shop right from there.
I think you're going to be getting an order from me for one of these custom chocolate cards because they are so awesome.
I'd love to make it for you.
Speaking of all these gift ideas today, with the cooler months now here, you may be thinking about gifting someone a nice wine, a perfect drink around the holidays. Personally, I love a good red this time of year, and this week's sponsor, Usual Wines, will get you set up for the holidays with some excellent wines. Usual Wines are for the modern drinker. Each bottle from Usual Wines is 6.3 ounces. That's a heavy pour, or about a glass and a half of wine. Because of the single-serve format and bottle design, Usual is always fresh, meaning no more flat bubbly or stale rosé. Usual has a red blend, a rosé, and a sparkling white wine called Brut. They are serious about making a great wine. The wines come from California's Sonoma County, and they have no additives. On their site, you can read about the location, the soil, and the grapes they use to create a perfect wine. I've been obsessed with their red blend recently. It is so great. And these single-serve glass bottles are awesome. Like I've said before, they look like science beakers, so they're a lot of fun to drink out of and mix up your evenings with. Usual Wines have a special holiday product, which was just released, Usual Reserve. This is their most special wine yet, hailing from one of the most celebrated plots of land in all of Napa, California. This Cabernet Sauvignon is concentrated and rich with just enough grip. Gift it to someone special or keep it all for yourself. Wine is a great holiday gift, so make it happen. Go check out their website at usualwines.com and use our discount code MuggleCast for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us. Again, visit usualwines.com and use our discount code MuggleCast for $8 off your first order and try your first glass on us. Time for some emails.
First email comes from David. And David says, "Hey MuggleCast, about character-defining chapters in Harry Potter, I think the chapter that best defines Hagrid is the Yule Ball in Goblet of Fire. This is where we get confirmation that Hagrid is indeed part giant, along with some context as to what that means. Giants are seen as evil, dangerous monsters that love killing, more or less equivalent to trolls, and half-giants, therefore, are presumably held in similar low regard. Hagrid is eager to befriend Madame Maxime, believing her to be half-giant like himself, and he is surprised when she shuts him down, claiming to merely be big-boned. It never occurs to Hagrid that she might be disinclined or even ashamed to acknowledge her giant heritage. We also learn that Hagrid's giant mother left when he was just 3 years old, leaving his human father broken-hearted. This small bit about Hagrid's father speaks volumes. He loved Hagrid's mother and somehow managed to keep her around for 3 whole years. Then he lovingly raised Hagrid on his own for another 8 years before dying of unknown causes. Hagrid's love of monsters is not just some random character trait. It comes directly from his father, the original monster lover, and his mother, a literal monster. This chapter also confirms that Hagrid has been on his own at Hogwarts since childhood. Hogwarts has been his only home since age 11, and its long-term staff are very much like a family to him. Dumbledore is like a grandfather, McGonagall, Flitwick, and Sprout like siblings or cousins. Even Snape is, to Hagrid, like a bratty nephew, the kind you never really like, but you know you can trust them and count on their loyalty to the family.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And this next one comes from Eve. Eve says, "Hi, my name is Eve and I'm 13 years old. I just wanted to make a suggestion regarding your latest episode as to the moment when Harry's character is most defined, because I would actually say that although him going into the forest in Deathly Hallows is a huge moment, one of the other biggest ones is when he helped Draco to escape the fire in the Room of Requirement. Because although Voldemort ultimately is his archenemy, Draco has been with him since day one at Hogwarts. And every single day, he's almost gone through some form of bullying or sliminess at the hands of Draco. It would have been so easy for him to just leave Draco there without a word. And even though he would possibly regret it forever, he still has so much hurt about Dumbledore's death. And he partly holds Draco accountable, as it was originally his mission. Risking his own life to help Draco really defines his sense of morality, which is sometimes lacking, especially in this book when he has to wear the Horcrux for extended periods of time. Reading this for the first time was one of my yes, Harry moments because I was so happy that he overcame his pride and any grudge he might have had against Draco to ultimately save his life, even though it was the life of someone who made at least a few seconds of every day a misery for him. I love your podcast so much, and I think this episode was absolutely amazing." Thank you, Eve. That's a really good point. This absolutely is representative of significant growth for Harry. It shows Harry being able to put aside petty childhood rivalries in the service of something much more important.
Yeah. Thank you for this reminder about this scene, because now I'm thinking back to reading that for the first time and just thinking, whoa, that is a powerful moment.
Andrew, would you have saved your high school bully from the fire?
Honestly, no.
I think
But that's why I'm not Harry Potter.
I think in the moment you would have been like,
yeah, I guess.
All right.
If it means the local newspapers are going to write about my heroic efforts, I guess
my
so.
God.
If it was a Weasley, though, Andrew definitely wouldn't have.
No, I'd be like,
saving him.
The fire matches that hair, and that's meant to be. So.
Oh my God.
Is it really the holiday season? I'm sure not acting like it.
Yeah, what a Grinch.
You're a Grinch over here.
Yeah.
But we did get a lot of really great email responses from that episode where we were talking about defining chapters. And I really do love the fact Eve is 13, which means she's younger than this podcast, but sends in a really great email about Harry's defining chapter.
Yeah, don't play Cards Against Muggles, Eve. It's not for you. Maybe 5 more years.
You know what? Kids do not get enough credit. That's all I'm going to say. Kids are way more perceptive and ready for things than they are giving credit for.
I mean, look at the well-reasoned chapter.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin her minds with that Cards Against Muggle nonsense.
But
she's very well spoken.
Anytime you say kids shouldn't go and
what's the first thing
they're
going to do?
What
did we do?
Cards Against Muggles.
Right, I know. All right. Sorry, Eve's parents. I'll just say that. Okay, it's time for Quizzage.
Yes, last week's question. Who did Snape tell off for using the word mudblood during the Prince's Tale? And who was it said about? This is yet another question that came from the Prince's Tale chapter, I believe. But the correct answer is Phineas Nigellus Black. And it is the portrait of Phineas Nigellus Black that refers to Hermione Granger as a mudblood. And Snape is like, nope, stop it. Correct answers were submitted by Potter Hobbit, Chelsea, Danielle, Jake Snape, Grace, Bort Voldemort, and Jason King. All right, next week's question. In light of this discussion that we just had on buying things, what is the first thing that Harry Potter buys in Diagon Alley?
Cards Against Muggles.
He would be way too young to buy that.
No, he wouldn't.
His fake ID.
Please submit your correct answer to us over on Twitter at reply MuggleCast with hashtag Quizzage.
If you have any feedback about today's discussion or maybe some merchandise recommendations of your own, email mugglecast@gmail.com or use the contact form on mugglecast.com. You can also call us 1-920-3-MUGGLE. What an exclusive phone number. That's 1-920-368-4453. Or send us a voice memo. We love hearing you in higher quality. Just use the voice memo app on your phone and email that file to mugglecast@gmail.com. And we'll wrap up today with a chicken soup. Micah, why don't you read it for us?
Sure. This chicken soup comes from Travis, who says, I've been meaning to write a comment for a while now. However, I couldn't truly find a way to articulate how I felt. I guess I could begin by simply saying thank you. Started listening in 2005 and felt so connected to the podcast, the materials, the theories, etc. Felt like I belonged to a community that understood my passion for these books and movies. Life is hard. As an adolescent, at the time, I used MuggleCast as a way to immerse myself into these texts even further. As host, you brought insight, humor, and empathy that I appreciated more than you know. Even further, it was the first time that I really heard someone dive really deep into a text. From this podcast, I started loving the layers of literature, what an alliteration, and began exploring other books through different lenses. I then became an English major as my passion grew. Fast forward to today, and I am now an English professor.
Whoa.
Once again, thank you for all that you do and for helping me discover my passion. Travis.
That's fantastic. Thank you,
English
Travis.
majors for the win.
Yeah, it's a really cool story.
Yeah, great email. Thank you, Travis. It means the world to us. And this is our 15th year of MuggleCast. We're closing it out in a couple more weeks, and it's just remarkable to grow up together. We'd also appreciate if you took a minute to rate or review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts if they have a review system. We love getting fresh reviews in there so new listeners can see what you have to say about the show. So thank you very much in advance if you take a moment to do that. Also follow us on social media. We're MuggleCast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And finally, we would love if you joined our community of listeners today at patreon.com/MuggleCast. You get bonus MuggleCast. You get access to our recording studio. You get a personalized video thank you message from one of the four of us and a whole lot more. And it inspires us and it keeps us going, and we get to use your support to invest in the show. We get new artwork made for the show. We get new sound effects. We get to attend podcasting conferences when there's not a pandemic going on so we can learn about the industry, all kinds of things. It just really has improved the show in ways we never thought possible. So thank you very much for your support. And that includes you, Hannah. Thank you for supporting us on Patreon, and thanks for coming on the show today.
Of course. It's been a blast.
Awesome. And again, everybody, please check out Hannah's store on Etsy. You will not be disappointed. Thank you, everybody, for listening to today's episode. I'm Andrew.
I'm Eric.
I'm Micah.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Hannah.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.